Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dr. Mike and Shannon Show. I'm Shannon Fanenstein, medical technology specialist with Uraval BRS, Mazan Medical, joined again by Dr. Mike Bradley. Dr. Mike Bradley, for those new to the show, please introduce yourself.
All right. Well, I'm Dr. Mike Bradley. I'm a PhD, work here at Las Vegas doing pelvic floor rehabilitation. I'm the chief medical officer of Mazan Medical that represents the bulbocavernosa reflex system, the Uraval, which I think is what we're going to talk about a little bit today.
Oh, yes. So, riddle me this. What do movie theaters, car rides, and trampolines have in common? We'll put the Jeopardy ding, 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 ding up. But that is what we are going to be talking about today. So, Dr. Mike, what do they have in common?
They are excellent ways of telling you if you've got a bladder problem or not. So
And we can all relate to,
yes.
how many of us hate that movie when it's over 2 hours?
Oh,
Or
man.
because we know we're going to have to get up and pee at the best part.
Yep.
Or we're timing our car rides based on rest stops, on, how far we can go between going to the next gas station or rest stop. Or we're like, oh my God, when we see that next rest stop is 80 miles away, can we make it? Or do we have to hurry up and pull over and stop now?
And none of you are on trampolines. And none of you are on trampolines. Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, the trampoline thing is like the ultimate test. And when we talk about trampolines, we talk about a lot of the women that do like the aerobics, and they go in and they do cross training and those kind of things, CrossFit. And it's so funny when I talk about trampolines. It's really this universal jumping up and down problem that a lot of women have, and they have it because they know they're going to lose a little bit of that urine. And with trampolines or CrossFit, it's almost a joke that, oh, how did you do with your pad today? How wet was your pad today? And let's face it, guys, that is a medically treatable medical problem called stress incontinence. When we talk about, the car ride, the car ride's absolutely the greatest one, I believe, to be able to tell you if you got a bladder issue. So here's how it is. Ladies, you're driving with your husbands and you're on a long trip to Disneyland. You're going somewhere and you're going along and all of a sudden it hits you, right? Or you've got this problem. So
I've had that feeling where it's like, yep.
Yeah.
And you don't even know if you can get out of the car to stand.
That's
yes.
right. You go to McDonald's and you purposely don't order a drink because if you do, it's going to be a problem. And one of the best ways we can know that if this is something that's a real issue is if I ask you, you're on a long trip, do you, when this hits you, find the closest clean bathroom, or do you find the closest bathroom, period?
Yeah, it's a good point. Although I do put my limit on a porta potty.
yeah. All women have a point where, what, I'd rather pee myself than walk into that place. But
I'll find a bush.
You do see the point, right? You get into that Chevron station, they hand you that key that's on that big long tire, whatever it is. And you go in there and you look at the situation and you're like, man, I'm going to have to just take all these little pieces of toilet paper and put it out because I have no more time. I have no more ability to wait any longer.
That's if we can get ourselves to even think, because that's the bad part is when you have that stress incontinence, your brain is all it's thinking about. You can't even get the toilet paper on the potty.
Yeah. Well, and in that situation, it's urgency. That's what we call it, urge incontinence or urgency. And you can see that's a great title, right? That's a great title for what women feel when they're on those long trips, and all of a sudden it hits them and they're like, honey, you find the closest one. And then you get pissed off at him if he misses the exit, which women know, all women know, and because he's just driving along, he's in road comatose, and you're like, the only thing important in your world at that moment is you see that gas station going by, and you're like, oh my God, I could have been there, and now I have to wait another mile and a half.
Because it wasn't on the plan. It wasn't in the itinerary.
I don't even know how many divorces have occurred because of this exact issue. The number of crazy fights that occur between couples because
or
of
worse,
this issue.
or worse, they may be found in the body. That might be why these bodies are found on the side of the road.
Right, yeah, the whole,
Just
yeah,
saying.
just like, the husband's just,
He didn't pull over.
and we're not talking about the ladies in the side of the road. We're talking that the men have been stabbed multiple times because they missed that exit. So, and then the final thing is what we talk about with that whole situation with the movies. Best part of the movie. You go to the movie, what do you want? You want popcorn, salts, makes you thirsty. They do it on purpose. They give you the largest drink that's ever
For
existed.
only 50 cents more, you get to upsize.
Yeah, with free refills. It's like they're just making you miss the movie. They want you to not see it, so you have to come back and watch it again. I love movie theaters to death. I go all the time with my son, but it's just one of those things that every time I go get those drinks, I think about all of the people that have that particular problem, and that can be what they call frequency. That means that you went to the bathroom before the movie started, during those credits that we all hate to miss, right? Or those previews that we hate to miss, right? But we go to the bathroom first. We go in there. It's an hour and a half, and all of a sudden it hits us, or less than an hour, and it hits us. Less than an hour. Why? Well, most likely because we have something called urinary frequency. So in this discussion of those three things, I talked about the three diagnoses that you could have, right? Stress incontinence, the trampoline. Urgency, the car ride. Frequency, the movie theater. That's how you can diagnose if you've got a bladder problem.
And this is not just for women, correct?
Right. Oh, men can do it
too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're laughing. It's not a funny matter, but this is men and women, and it is much, much more common than people think.
Yes. And we're not trying to diagnose your particular problem based on a movie theater or a car ride.
On our three little
riddle
quote.
Right. But it is one of those things that this is a great way for you to be able to have a very human conversation with your doctor about, hey, doc, I drive down the road and I have to pee every 5 seconds, or I can't get on a trampoline with my kid, or I can't go to that CrossFit without being embarrassed, or I can't make it through a movie theater. What can you do to help me? And make sure you go to somebody that knows what they're talking about. That's with anything, but there is help out there. And so when we test for those kind of symptoms, right, with the bulbocavenosa reflex system, the UroVal, we're checking to see if those nerves are firing correctly into the muscles. And that's everything when it comes to all of those three particular problems that we're talking about. It tells us if it's a nerve-related issue causing those symptoms. And guess what? If it's not, then there's other directions that they can go. But we've at least eliminated one very likely suspect of why you're having those problems on a trampoline, in the car, or at the movie theater. And that's kind of
next time before you do any of the three, pop into your provider and they can do a quick 5-minute test and tell you, yes, you have a latency time of X, and here's what you should do about it. Whether it's medication, whether it's pelvic floor rehab, whether it's Botox, we've talked about several of these different types of treatments that are in our previous videos, and we'll be talking about more, in future episodes. But yeah, so how many of you out there, you're planning, it's summertime, before your next vacation, you're on the phone right now. Hey, let's get this, looked at before we take that 5-hour car ride. I go down to my daughter's down in North Carolina. By the way, they're oyster farmers down there. Go NC Oyster Company, little plug. But when I go down there, again, I have the bathroom and same one. It's in Skippers, North Carolina. It's at a Pilot gas station. They're always clean. I'm plugging them too, but I know from the time I leave my house, that's where I'm going to fill up, and I can have a X amount to drink, and I know I'm going to be using the bathroom there. It's like clockwork. I have it down to a science. And then I know I'm probably not going to make it the rest of the way, but I know exactly where I'm going to hit next. So yeah, I mean, it's sad, but we are making our schedule based on that.
You know where probably other than the movie theater, the most embarrassing place for that to occur is on the airplane. To me, I
Oh,
feel
yeah,
so bad. Yeah, I feel so
we,
bad for those women that they didn't want to use the bathroom because they were worried they're going to miss their flight. They get on the plane and then we're sitting there before we can take off to get to that all too important 10,000 feet to where they can hit the bathroom. And they're begging
yep.
the stewardess, and the stewardess is telling them no. And then as soon as we get to 10,000 feet, they're running down the thing to try to get the bathroom. The most embarrassing situation. And that is,
Or you're stuck on the tarmac and
yep.
can't go.
And that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's,
So
or you get the dreaded window seat.
yes, the worst ever. The worst ever, the window seat.
I am not a window seat
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. It's just it's one of those things that even the middle seat to some extent, but it is one of those situations where these are legitimate medical concerns that should be addressed with your physician and talked about openly and maybe even often, until you get relief. And you can be one of those people that sits on a 5-hour flight and don't even think about that. You're just focusing on the movie or the peanuts or whatever they give you to eat.
For your
So,
work you're catching up on for a speech.
right.
But thank you very much, everybody. We hope, we wanted to give you a little bit of humor, but we also wanted to talk about a very serious matter that affects so many people. And again, both men and women. So thank you again for watching us today. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so that way we can continue to be able to provide these informational videos. If you are a provider, please make sure that if you want to reach out to us and find out more information about being able to offer your patients the easy to use screening of the Uraval BRS, we do have a link in our description that you can contact us. We can schedule a time to go over that with you. And thank you very much. And Dr. Mike, thank you as well.
It's my pleasure.
Have a great day.
I will see you at the movies.
Thank you. Have a great day.